Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to episode 51 of the Yellow Card Podcast. Your host, as always, Diego Galvez. My boys, Chris Jones, Andrew Fasciano, episode 51. Fellas, good morning. Saturday, 9:20 in the morning. First and foremost, unfortunately, it is the 20th anniversary of one of the darkest days in America. With that in mind, I just kind of start off by giving just a quick minute of silence for those that we lost that day, and just out of respect for those families. Thank you. All right, so episode 51, lots to talk about. We got great content coming for you, so thank you for tuning in. If you're watching on YouTube, thank you for watching. Make sure that you rate and subscribe on YouTube. Make sure that you follow our Spotify channel. Make sure that you subscribe to the iTunes link. Whatever you need to do to support us, it's greatly appreciated and always welcome. Speaking of support and speaking of appreciation, this podcast is brought to you by the Couch Guy Sports Network. Ever feel just absolutely tired of hearing some of these older folks that are starting to feel a little out of touch? You know, your Dan Shaughnessy's of the Boston Globe, your sometimes Skip Bayless of Undisputed, or just some people that don't really talk to sport much. Make sure that you're following CouchGuySports.com. It is subscription-less. You don't have to worry about paying any subscriptions or anything. Just go on there, search for some soccer content. We got you covered. You want fantasy sports content? We got you covered. Basically, just go to CouchGuySports.com, take a look through it. Any support that you can give us is truly appreciated. And also make sure that you check out the Couch Guy Sports shop, which is literally on the website as well. Just look at the tab that says CGS store. Click on there. Get some merchandise, get yourself some discounts. And honestly, fall season coming through. Why not get yourself some comfortable joggers, a comfortable hoodie while supporting a small business. Anyways, episode 51, fellas, great content ahead. We got Champions League coming up. We got some controversies that happen in South America. And we gotta give a shout out to our U.S. men national soccer team. So let's get into the content immediately. So Champions League starting on Tuesday. We got great matches to start off. I don't know who fed Chris Red Bull this morning for breakfast, but the boys got wings. So
playing rock, paper, scissors to see what we were talking about first. I won. All right, good. You know what we're talking about.
All right, so we got like I said, we got Champions League starting on Tuesday, and we got some great matches to open up the tournament. So I gotta turn it over to Chris, who's got the schedule ready. Chris has been keeping tabs of all of our predictions. He did it last year, and I assume that he's going to do it again this year and hold us all accountable. Remind us of,
especially you.
Remind us all that if we suck, we suck, or if we're good, just give us a very minimal shout out. But either way, Chris, over to you, man. You got the schedule. Talk to us.
Get these eye boogies off my eyes. Too early for this. Let's move on. So we have 8 games Tuesday, 8 games Wednesday this week. So we'll start with Tuesday slate. Sevilla and RB Salzburg. Tuesday, 12:45 Eastern Standard Time. I'm going to start with the kid who hasn't said much so far this episode, Mr. Fasciano.
Sounds good. I think I like Sevilla in this one. I'm going to go by a scoreline of 3-1, Sevilla winning at home.
Yeah,
I like Sevilla a lot too. I'm going more on the conservative side of 2-1. Or Sevilla.
You guys,
that is.
you guys are too nice to RB Salzburg. I'm going Sevilla 2-0. I think Sevilla's defense is going to be a big factor in this game, and I think Salzburg's offense is going to struggle to get one past.
Sure.
All right, let's move into the other game that's at 12:45 on Tuesday. This has implications for co-host, host, whatever he calls himself on this show now, Diego Galvez. We have Manchester United that are on the road at Young Boys.
Yeah.
No, hold on. No, you're going last there. I'm
Oh.
excuse me. I think this is gonna be a lot closer than people think. I think United squeaks one out here, but I think it's gonna be a hardly fought match, and I think Ronaldo is gonna score in like the 85th minute to put you guys ahead. So United wins 2-1 here. Andrew, go.
I'm gonna also pick Man United in this game, but slightly less close. I'm gonna say 4-0 United.
Disrespect to Young Boys. I can't believe you. You
Sorry,
of all
young
people,
boys.
You of all people, the Young Boy.
I am
Disrespecting
the
the
young
Young
boy.
Boys.
Yeah, my club, but no.
I don't like how Andrew laughed and said, "I'm a young boy." So we're gonna move past that. Diego, your thoughts on this one?
I kind of agree with Andrew. I don't think it's gonna be that close. I'm going 3-0.
All right, you guys have faith. Good. Just remember what United did last year in the Champions League.
We're also not the same United as last year. Newsflash.
Okay. Lille and Wolfsburg. We'll start with Diego here.
Wow versus Wolfsburg. Okay. I'm actually go with a tie score here. I think both teams are very similar. I'm gonna go with the cop out 1-1.
What a fucking cop out, a 1-1 draw. I think Wolfsburg is shaped a little bit better than Lille is right now. I think Lille, losing their starting goaltender, has faced a huge loss. And just seeing how they played so far in Ligue 1, I think Wolfsburg's going to take this one 2-1.
Okay, so before Diego went, my initial prediction was a 1-1 draw. Before Chris went, my prediction was 2-1 Wolfsburg. I'm not going to change it a third time. I think Wolfsburg will win it 2-1. They had a pretty nice win over RB Leipzig recently, so I think they can use that momentum and take it into this one and get it done.
All right, move on to one of the premier matchups of Champions League group stage match day 1. Villarreal hosting Atalanta. Fasciano, just so we don't take your scores, you can go first.
Thank you. I appreciate that. I think this one's going to be a close contest, back and forth a little bit. I think it's going to end up in a 2-2 draw with both teams getting a point to start off.
Wow. We like that. I'll go. I think Villarreal is going to play them tough. I think Atalanta is going to have trouble with Muriel and Zapata up front. I think Villarreal's defense, we've seen how good it can be. I think they squeak out and win 1-0 here.
I'm gonna go in a different direction. I think Villarreal, well, really good in the midfield game. Atalanta poses a major threat in their forward lineup, not just because of the two Colombians up front, but also with the mix of what's his name? You'll figure it out. One of the guys that
it's such a Diego thing to do.
It really is. It really is.
Who are you thinking of? You thinking of
man, I'm even surprised I'm alive after coming home at 3:15.
Thinking of Joseph Vilicic?
Yes, because he's very mobile in up front. That's the name. Thank you very much. How in all earth would I remember that with like 4 hours of sleep?
I don't want to hear it. All right.
But either way,
no one told you to be a DJ.
Yeah, no one told me. You're right. No one did. But with that said, I think it ends up being a bit of a decent matchup. I'm actually going to go with a 2-1 score here for Atalanta.
Well, that's so funny that you said that because that's what I wrote down for you before you even said it. just because I know how Colombian you truly are.
No, I like Villarreal too. I just think Atalanta might squeeze out differently.
It's just funny how Muriel and Zapata are playing for them, but we'll digress here.
Don't
Chelsea
be such a hater.
Chelsea and Zenit. Diego, you're up.
This is hard. 3-0 Chelsea.
Fuck you, dude. Fasciano, I'll go quick. I also have 3-0 Chelsea. I literally wrote it down before Diego even had it come out of his mouth. Oh my god. Chelsea's just too talented. Even without guys like Christian Pulisic potentially for this match and N'Golo Kante, I think this team's going to roll. I think they also win 3-0.
Yeah, I can't see Chelsea losing this one. The scoreline I had in mind was 2-0 for Chelsea at home.
All right. Malmo and Juventus. I will go first. Juventus 2-0. Listen, I know they don't have Cristiano Ronaldo anymore, but they have Massimiliano Allegri, who's one of the best coaches to ever coach an Italian side and was the mastermind for how good Juventus was for years to come in the 2010s. I'm riding with them 2-0 here. Who wants to speak?
Go ahead, Andrew.
Because I also have Juventus winning this one 2-0. Yeah, I just think they have too much talent at their disposal. And I also think it's important for them to start off this group stage with a win because they've been struggling a little bit in the league recently. So good chance for them to get on track.
All right. I'm actually going to go Juventus 3-0 here. I think much as to what Chris said, I think having brought back Allegri gives them a really good new breath of fresh air that they kind of needed, especially after Ronaldo leaving their club and just kind of engaging into a whole different style of game. So,
all right, another Premier one, just based off names: Bayern Munich and Barcelona. Fasciano, the Ronald Koeman hate, is it still strong?
It will never not be strong. I mean, we have a new episode in Ronald Koeman just not treating his players with respect with Pjanic, I think it was. This week that news came out.
Yep.
I don't like who even is Barcelona at this point without Messi. I don't even know. They've been doing all right in the league, but it's just a different feel. I'm sure they're gonna be motivated to not get blown out by Bayern like they did. I don't remember if it was last time that they played in the Champions League or 2 years ago.
2 years ago.
But I just think Bayern is the better team. Lewandowski is on form right now. He played really well for Poland. I think it's going to be a high scoring one, and I think Bayern will win it 3-2.
I want it on the record that the fact that he gave Ronald Koeman's team 2 goals, I don't know how strong that hate really is.
Well,
Diego.
8-2 Bayern. No, I'm just kidding.
There it is. That's what I thought. That's what I was waiting for, Diego.
No, I actually do like Barcelona a little bit this year. I think Memphis Depay is ready to make an impact here and become kind of the new baby face of the club. He's just gonna have a lot of ground to cover. I think the fact that they got rid of Griezmann as well was essential for them because he was just a burden, I think, at this point.
They just misused the shit out of him.
Yeah, they really did.
Poor Griezmann.
However, I do like Bayern's chances here. I actually think this game ends up being closer than we think. I'm gonna go with a 2-2 score.
You think it's gonna be a draw?
Yeah.
Wow.
I think both teams have some weaknesses that both can exploit out of each other, but defensively, that's where everything gets held up.
Okay. I'm gonna go in a completely different route here. than both of you. I think Bayern blows them out. I think Ronald Koeman's team is going to have nothing for this Bayern Munich team. I think Bayern Munich beats them 4-0.
I was waiting to hear 6-1.
I was debating it, honestly, but no, I think they're going to have a little bit more respect this time around. Dynamo Kiev and Benfica rounds off the Tuesday slate. I'll start with Diego here.
Oh, Benfica all day. Give me Benfica vibes all day. I'm excited to see them back in the Champions League. I'm going 2-0 here.
You fucking motherfucker, dude. You do this every time. Piss me off. Fucking asshole, dude. Every time I let Diego go first, he fucking takes my score. Andrew, go.
All I know is that I wouldn't want to be the first team to go into Ukraine in the Champions League with fans back, because that atmosphere is going to be insane. I think Dynamo Kiev will use that fan advantage to get a 1-0 win.
Ooh.
What do you know? What do you know? Like, get out of
I
here.
mean, nothing, but just my thoughts.
What do you know? Anything? You know anything about anything? I'm going to say the same score as Diego because that's what I have written down, and I have it in pen, so I can't erase it. Benfica 2-0 here. I think, again, like Andrew said, the Ukraine crowd's going to be incredible, but I think Benfica's just too good. All right, let's move on to the Wednesday slate. The first one we got Besiktas. I say that right, Diego?
Besiktas. Yep.
Versus Dortmund. I'm going to go first. Dortmund 2-0. With Erling Haaland scoring both goals, because that's how damn good he is, ladies and gentlemen.
Wait. Flashback. Oh, the fucking guy. Every single time that he goes first, he takes my score. Go ahead, Andrew.
I'm going to go 2-1 Dortmund in this one.
That was Diego's on the score.
Yes. All right. Well, now I gotta come up with a new one.
I'll just fucking say 2-0. Let's move on.
No, actually, you know what? Dortmund 3-1.
There we go. Add a goal each side. All right. The next one. This one, I think it's not going to get talked about, but I think this one could be like the sneaky good game of the first match day, and that's Sheriff versus Shakhtar Donetsk. Fasciano, you're the Shakhtar guy.
I'm the Shakhtar guy.
You're the small club guy. Let's go. What do you think?
You know, I want Sheriff to win just because it would be an incredible story. So I'm gonna go with my heart on this one, and I'm gonna say 2-1. They'll get a late winner, and it will be
2-1
insane.
Sheriff?
Yeah, 2-1 Sheriff.
Okay. Again, Andrew, like you, my heart is with Sheriff, and usually when I trust my heart, it leads to good things. So with that being said, I'm taking Shakhtar Donetsk 2-1.
Fair.
I'm just glad that you two assure the audience that you guys have heart.
Not much, but it's there. All right, Diego, what do you got for us?
I actually expect Sheriff to be sneaky good and much more of a challenge than a lot of people think. They give me big. Do they give
you Shakhtar that vibes from last year?
No, fuck Shakhtar. Because of Shakhtar is the reason we have Fred and Man United. Fuckers.
Listen, Shakhtar fucking almost beat Real Madrid with fucking no guys. Or
they destroyed
Real Madrid with no guys.
They destroyed Real Madrid at Madrid.
With their C squad.
But Sheriff gives me big Mönchengladbach vibes for some reason. They really do. So I'm actually...
Is that your Gladbach team this year? You going Sheriff?
In a way, yeah, but in a way, no. I actually think this is probably a 2-2 score, in my opinion.
You and these fucking draws, dude.
They're both good teams. I just expect it to be very physical.
Let's move on to the prime games. Inter Milan and Real Madrid, as they say in the whatchamacallit, the announcing of the group stage. You gotta say it like with the accent. Inter Milan, Real Madrid. I will go first. I think this is going to be a 0-0 draw between both sides of Inter Milan and Real Madrid.
That's John Florentino. Where's
Thanks.
this episode going? It's already gone to hell.
We're 20 minutes in and it's not great.
Go ahead, Andrew.
All right, sorry, I have to backtrack real quick for a second because I'm looking
Let's
at
roam off.
I'm looking at Sheriff's roster because I don't know a single player on their team. They have a defender named Cristiano, and they have an attacker named Adama Traore. So they have a bunch of Premier League clones in their team, which I think is funny.
I'm going to change my answer. Shakhtar 3-1.
You're adding an extra goal because they have Cristiano and Adama Traore.
Yep.
Inter and Milan.
Inter and Milan, yeah.
Inter and Milan. Jeez, wow. We're cruising right now.
We're this is why we don't go until the afternoon.
I'm gonna say a 2-2 draw in this one. I'm pretty sure I predicted Inter to fall short in the group in this.
Hold on, let me check my notes.
League. Yeah, can we check back?
Fasciano. You had them in third, yes.
Yeah, they had their off-season fire sale.
We also have the same group for this group. We also had Real Madrid, Shakhtar, Inter, and then Sheriff.
Okay.
You guys are giving me huge "Who Wants to Be a Millionaire" vibes, where you're just using every resource available at your disposal.
Can I ask the audience the question? Who do you think is going to win the Inter Milan Real Madrid game?
No, the Inter and Milan game, not Real Madrid.
My bad.
My
bad.
Diego, 2-2 draw. 2-2 draw.
Diego, give your thoughts on this one, will you? Fucking Mongol.
Okay, so Real Madrid versus Inter Milan. Real Madrid. I'm going with Real Madrid winning here, 2-1.
All right, let's move on to Atletico and Porto.
It's Atletico Madrid and Porto.
All right, we're done. Florentino Perez, relax. The Super League is going to be the best league in the world.
La Superliga.
Okay. Atletico and Porto.
Oof. I love this matchup. You know what? I'm going for a tie here. I'm going.
Say it. Don't you fucking say it. Don't you fucking say it.
I'm going 2-2.
Okay, good.
There is a possibility for a 1-1, but I'm going 2-2.
Shut the fuck up. Yeah, there is a possibility because it is going to be 1-1 because that's what I have written down. You son of a bitch. I have the cop-out answer here. It's a 1-1. Both sides are very good defensively. They each get one goal in. That's it. No clear winner. Atletico Porto draw 1-1.
I agree that Atletico will score one goal. I do not think Porto will score a goal. So 1-0 win for Atletico Madrid at home.
I started writing a draw for it.
Let the Porto slap in the face Fasciano season begin.
Listen, Fasciano, let me tell you, I did this last year and it bit me in the ass. Can't do it again.
Hey, it's one game. I think they're a good team.
Yeah, and I said that every fucking time. Guess what? They came from my jugular.
I mean, listen, a little slap in the face from Porto after, leaving Barcelona teethless. It doesn't hurt.
I thought you were going to go with the Luis Diaz, James Rodriguez transfer saga there. The second slap in the face, but that's okay.
That's not really much of a saga when Everton couldn't get it done.
All right, let's move on. Let's not talk about Everton, please. Club Brugge. The future home of New England Revolution star Talon Buchanan versus Paris Saint-Germain. Easy here. PSG is just too loaded up top and down and at goalkeeper and just everywhere on the field. PSG 3-0 over Club Brugge.
I'll go
Blue Power Ranger. Go
PSG 4-0. Blue Power Ranger. Yeah, 4-0 PSG.
Red Power Ranger. 4-0 PSG.
What an episode. All right. Let's
I
move
have
on.
no idea what's going on right now.
Liverpool versus AC Milan. One of you two idiots go first. I'm going last.
You're not gonna like my answer.
Well, I'm already writing down AC Milan for you dinkus.
Go ahead, Andrew.
Oh, okay. 2-2 draw. I think it's going to be an exciting back and forth one.
Diego?
I'm actually going 2-1, AC Milan.
Okay.
I like what Liverpool has to offer, but I think AC Milan this year is a bit loaded too, and I think they can they're poised for a good game in this one. Could go either way, though. It could go the opposite way.
The only thing I'm going to say is the bona fide strikers that AC Milan have aren't up to the level of strikers such as Romelu Lukaku that Liverpool has already played this year, and Virgil van Dijk has absolutely shut him down.
I love that he did.
I'm going Liverpool 2-1 here. Shut up, my guy Mo Salah.
So here's where I think 2-1. I think with Lukaku being such a big body but not as fast mobile as maybe he should be, is the reason why Virgil was able to really be able to shut him down, because he had more control of being able to maintain speed with him rather than physicality. But I think with Oliver Giroud being more of a speedy guy and technical guy, I think he can actually be more of a threat. That's the only reason why. But it's not like Liverpool's defense sucks, because it doesn't. It's a good defense. And it's not like AC Milan's defense sucks either, because they are a good defense too. So I think that's why I'm thinking 2-1.
Move on. Man City hosting RB Leipzig. This will be quick. Leipzig's been playing tough, but City rocks out a 3-1 victory here.
Yeah, I was thinking 3-2 City, so very similar. I think it's going to be a tight game, tough game, but City will get it done in the end.
Say 3-2?
Yes, sir.
Just want to make sure I heard you correctly. Diego?
I'm thinking 2-1 City.
Wow, okay. The last one is Sporting CP and Ajax. This is an Andrew game right here, written all over it.
I'm glad you said that, because I was going to say I really like this matchup.
It's such a classic Andrew matchup.
I feel like I'm on record as being somewhat biased towards Ajax at this point. I don't know. I just like the way they go about their business as a club, and I think they'll get it done in this one. 2-1 on the road, I'm going to go with.
Diego, I'm going to go next because I have the same score as Fasciano that I've already had written down. But unlike him, he said it so nice that I'm not going to yell at him. You say it with like this evil grin on your face, like you're meaning to do it. Fasciano's just an innocent little bystander here. Ajax 2-1 here. I think it's going to be a tough game, both sides, but Ajax gets it done at the end.
I hope they wear their Bob Marley kits.
Correct.
That'd be
correct, cool. Andrew.
Ooh.
Correct.
I like both of these teams. I think when you look at some of the major clubs around Europe, a lot of the main players where they originated from are either Sporting or Ajax. They're both really good foundation wise. They're great teams. I think these two colliding is great. However, I think it's a very close game. I actually think it's more of a 1-1 game than anything.
Okay, so I predicted 2 draws. Diego has predicted 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Andrew's predicted 1, 2, 2, 3. So that will do it for Champions League talk. Next week, we'll go over the records and talk about how wrong we were or how right we were, or why Andrew's just an innocent bystander than Diego versus Jones's class.
You froze there for a little bit. What'd you say?
I'm good.
Oh, I heard him. I heard him.
I didn't. What'd you say? What'd you say, Jones?
I said we'll go over what we were right about, what we were wrong about, and then why Fasciano's the innocent bystander between the clash of titans between you and I.
It's not much of a titan when I'm owning your ass every day. But
I don't know about that. Let's slow
It's
the
good.
roll. Yeah.
It's good that you keep coming back to school, though. It's good to be educated.
Yep.
All right.
Okay. Let's move on.
So
Let's move on. Yep.
moving
I'm-
on because I
I'm
don't
gonna say
even
some
know.
things. Let's move on. Let's move on. I'm gonna say some things. Let's move on.
I don't even know.
Let's
I don't even
move
know
on.
where this episode has gone. But anyways,
The shitter.
we really haven't talked much about the U.S. men national soccer team as much as maybe we should. But it's time for a little update because we got some World Cup qualifiers that happened during the international break. So I'm actually going to turn this over to Andrew.
Sounds good. Yeah. So we're now into the third round of qualifying in CONCACAF for this 2022 World Cup. In the past, if you're used to the hex at this point with 6 teams, it's changed a little bit. It's now the octagonal. So there are 8 teams remaining vying for 3 automatic qualification spots. And then the team who finishes 4th will be in the intercontinental playoff. I'm not sure if it's already determined which other confederation they're going to be playing, but I think it's usually Asia or Oceania.
I think they
Okay,
randomized it,
interesting.
if I'm not mistaken.
There you go, randomized. So we had 3 games played by each team in this September window. And specifically looking at the US, they played El Salvador on the road, Canada at home, and then Honduras on the road as well. 2 draws to start things off. And I got to say that first half on the road in Honduras was pretty ugly. It was not looking good. Honduras scored first in that game, so they were up 1-0 at halftime. It looked like the US was on course to only pick up 2 points from their first 3 games, which, given how the US started 4 years ago in World Cup qualifying at this point, would not have been a positive start whatsoever. But they really turned things around and came roaring back in that second half. I think the consensus is that Greg Berhalter's starting lineup in that third game was not great, but he nailed the halftime substitutions and adjustments because all 3 of the players that he brought on at halftime scored in that second half. So they managed to get things right on the fly there, which is pretty difficult to do at times in CONCACAF. So I think it was a very, very solid win in a game that you kind of needed to win, given what happened in the first 2 matches for the US. But in the end, it was a 4-1 win. They scored 4 goals in the second half. So they are the top 3 spots, which are the 3 automatic qualification spots, are currently Mexico in first. They won twice and drew once on the road against Panama. Canada in second, who have had a great first window to this qualification. They're trying to qualify for their first, the men's team is trying to qualify for their first World Cup since 1986, I think it was. So that would be pretty big news if Canada can get it done. And then the US is currently in third. So Mexico has 7 points. Canada, the US, and Panama all have 5. Then there's a couple teams with 2 points, and Jamaica is currently in 8th with 1 point. So things are still pretty tight after 3 games, which makes sense because only 9 points available through 3 games. But I think all in all, it's a decent start from the USA. There were definitely points where it looked like it wasn't going to be, but those 3 points in the final game were huge, and I think can certainly be used to get this team trending in the right direction, because we don't want to leave it late again like we did 4 years ago, because that did not go well for the United States. So they need to keep taking care of business and winning games to make sure that they're in those top 3 spots very solidly by the time we get to the end of this qualification.
I think my only thing to take away from it is, if you look at it, right, you have who they've played so far. You've already played Canada, which I think was one of their tougher tests. You've already played El Salvador, who always plays them tough no matter what. And then you got Honduras. So basically, all you have left, really, you have to play Mexico and then Costa Rica. I think they can beat Jamaica, Panama, and I think that's the other team, right? There's one more.
So the next window in October is at home against Jamaica, on the road against Panama, and then at home against Costa Rica. And then they play Mexico in November.
I think they can win that. Like I think they're solid enough where the first time around, I think they should be able to lose. If they lose at all, they lose to Mexico. I think they should be able to beat Jamaica, Costa Rica, and Panama as well. So I think for the USA, they just have to keep doing with what's working. Obviously, they didn't have Christian Pulisic due to COVID issues, so obviously getting him back to the fold would be beneficial. And obviously, the Weston McKennie saga that happened, he got sent home. There's just so many things that are happening right now that we have to kind of put into perspective on what could be a big step forward for USA if they get that whole team together finally.
Yeah. The other thing too is that you have to remember that this is a really young team, so they haven't actually played that many World Cup qualifiers together as a group, and that's a big thing, especially in CONCACAF. Like, you look at a team like Panama, who on paper is not necessarily the most talented team out of this group of 8, but they have a lot of experience together as a group. They qualified for the World Cup 4 years ago together as a group, so they've done very well in this first window, I think, in a large part due to that experience of playing together as a team. So that's something that's going to come with time for this young group with the USA. So I don't think it's necessarily too surprising for them to take a little bit of time to get up to speed, just because they haven't really played together that much in this sort of high stakes environment before.
All right. So that does it for the U.S. men's national soccer team. Thank you so much, both of you, for such a detailed update. Any comments, questions, or anything from the public, feel free to hit us up at on Twitter at Podcast Card. But moving on, we also had some major controversy happen last week in regards of one of the biggest clashes in South America, which is the Argentina versus Brazil game. 4 minutes into the game, Brazilian health authorities jump into the field and are coming after 4 Argentine players involving Emiliano Martinez, Emil Buendia, Giovanni Lo Celso, and who's the fourth one? Who's the fourth one involved in this? Why am I forgetting him? I know it was Lo Celso. I know it was Martinez, Buendia, and there was a fourth one, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, you're right.
He was also from I think English Premier League or something like that.
Hold on.
It would be, I don't know, maybe someone who's on the bench.
I think he was on the bench.
Christian Romero.
Christian Romero. Thank you. Yeah. Tottenham's new signing. So the authorities come in and start saying how these 4 players need to leave the field now and, basically be deported from the country after breaking COVID protocol. Then the game kind of gets stopped for a very long time after both teams kind of come crashing down on the ref and on the authorities as well, being like, what the hell? Like, why are we doing this now after being three days in the country already, following protocol and doing things by the book or whatever they want to make as their defense and whatever. All in all, ends up happening that the game is suspended for good. It's postponed until a later date, or we'll figure it out when FIFA decides to schedule it again and where. However, this became really problematic, and a lot of politics, unfortunately, are surrounded by it But the most annoying part is the essential of having clear protocol and ethics to follow when it comes to this big of a protocol, especially when you're in a pandemic situation as it's been in South America, where it just seems to just not have an end in sight, especially as a new variant of the COVID-19 virus has developed in South America and Colombia, called the Mu variant. MU is the name of the variant. So, anyways, the argument that is made, and I fully agree with this as somebody who has grown up in the Conmebol environment, and as someone who has had experience of 20 plus years watching Conmebol and knowing how controversial they are, and how lacking of transparency they are. This is something that truly really upsets me as a fan of the game more than anything. I think it should upset Argentinians. It should upset Brazilians more than anything, because here's the thing. So the backstory to this was that these four players that we mentioned, Christian Romero, Giovanni Lo Celso, Emil Buendia, and Martinez, supposedly they all lied in their forms, saying the majority of their games were played at a country that wasn't flagged as a high risk country. Sure, if these Argentine players did lie on their forms, right? Why are you still allowing them in their country, in your country, after 3 days of them being there and following additional protocol requirements that they were supposed to follow? On top of that, why are you waiting for the game to start? 4 minutes in, some random guy that honestly to me looked like it was just somebody streaking onto the field. The guy didn't even look to me like he was a health authority. Guy was dressed in regular clothes, like all of us here in this podcast are today. And I'm just saying to myself, like, if I'm the Argentine player that this guy is coming to confront first, I too get defensive and I will push him off, because I'm like, dude, what are you doing? You're getting too close to me. I'm without a mask. You're with a mask. Okay, great. But like, I'm in the middle of a game. What are you doing here? And then he introduces himself as like, I'm from this big health authority in Brazil. You need to leave. You need to leave now. Evacuate. Like, nah, that to me just sounded completely ridiculous. The aftermath of this too is Conmebol's excuse afterwards, which they made public on their Twitter, basically saying how FIFA is the one to schedule these matchups, and because they happen in South America, they're while it falls under the division of Conmebol, they're not responsible for those matches. I find that to be much of a BS answer, to be honest with you. Sure, FIFA is scheduling these, but Conmebol is the one finding the refs. How are you going to say that you're not the one fully involved here? You have as much of a responsibility of these games as FIFA does. I think them washing their hands basically like that is a clear and red flag to FIFA that Conmebol needs some major changes in management to be made in order for full transparency to be at its best form that it has ever been in however long. I mean, I followed Conmebol for 20 years, but even before that, there was a lot of corruption happening too in Conmebol. So God knows how long this pattern has been going on for, but it's ruining the game. It's ruining the future for Conmebol. It's ruining what the concept of it is. And it's really just becoming more of an issue where people no longer trust it. I don't know if any of you two have any instances on it, as United almost had an opportunity here to score within 4 minutes. Either way, I don't know what you guys' stance is on this. I just figured I gave my stance just coming from that continent, having lifted, having been through it and whatnot. But I would love to hear an outsider's perspective on this, because at this point I'm more than disgusted with what that authority even is.
For me personally, it's just you're looking at it and it just doesn't make sense to me. Like, I understand, with the variants and stuff like that, the virus, but at the same time, if they're already there, right, and they lied about the paperwork, why are we now making it an issue 3 days in? Why wasn't this found out before they even stepped foot into the country? Like, that's where the biggest thing for me is, line wise. So I don't know. I just think I think you hit it right on the head, dude. I just think it's more so of kind of weird on how everything played out.
Yeah. You can correct me if I'm wrong here, Diego, because you definitely know more about this than I do, but I can't help but feel that perhaps there was a little bit of gamesmanship involved in deciding to raise the issue after the match had started. Because I definitely believe that those players failed to disclose that they were based in England and therefore violated the COVID policy. But I think it would have been much easier to raise that issue and do something about it before the game had started. I feel like by waiting until the game was underway, you're kind of like, I don't know if they were hoping to get a forfeit and get 3 points, but I feel like it's just like sort of shenanigans that you're looking to get one over on your most hated rival in your region and in your federation. So I think they were well within their rights to enforce that policy, given that those players failed to disclose where they were based, which is a violation of the policy that Brazil had. But yeah, I don't know. I just feel like they should have dealt with it before the match started, and that way those players wouldn't have been involved. They could have played the game and played 90 minutes and figured out who won that way, rather than disrupting the game like 7 minutes in and creating a whole big scene. To me, it feels a little bit like they were trying to create a scene by doing it after the match had started and trying to sort of get a little edge on Argentina a little bit. I could be completely wrong, but that's sort of how it comes off to me.
Yeah, no. So one small detail that a lot of people don't know, and some people do, is 2 hours, usually 2 hours, sometimes even 3 hours before the game takes place, the referees in FIFA are aware, and this isn't much of a FIFA issue. This is actually more of Conmebol and the refs themselves doing their due diligence. So 3 authorities get the preliminary lineups. The referee in charge of that game, Conmebol, gets the official lineup so that they can put it on record, and FIFA gets the last version of it so that they can also put it on their record as to the story of that game, to keep track of everything that's happening in their history. 3 hours before that. So you're telling me that if you are the ref or any of these authorities, you had 3 hour lead time to do decisions ahead of this game, and you know that there were 4 players that violated COVID protocol. Why are you waiting 4 minutes into the start of the game? That is my first concern. My secondary concern to that is the following. There is definitely a lot of corruption happening between Conmebol and, I hate to say it, but there's got to be something going on with how much power Brazil has, honestly, in what they have here in Conmebol. Because if you think about it, Copa America, a tournament that, in my opinion, should have been canceled altogether, because COVID-19 was just running wild in South America. It was running far more wild than it was running here. It went from having to cancel Colombia as a host because of political reasons, but also because of health issues. Argentina ended up having to withdraw themselves as host because of pandemical issues going on. Now you're running over to Brazil. Brazil was also in big jeopardy of having to cancel this whole entire thing because COVID-19 was just going wild through Brazil. Was basically going at the same exact rate as it was going in Argentina. The thing that helps Brazil is that structural wise, they're a much wider country. So therefore it takes a little bit more time for that variant to fully go through. But still, it's a major risk that you put these players on through. Why didn't we cancel Copa America? Is the first question. All right. If we're so concerned about, following protocol and being very health oriented, shouldn't you have canceled Copa America? And if you're that concerned, if you're wanting to have a World Cup qualifying game between two of the biggest teams when it comes to World Cup presence, why didn't you have it in a neutral area? Why didn't you have it outside of South America? You had it at a country that was green or yellow in their perspective, right? And say, this is who is allowed to come based on where they're coming from and who you've called up, and this is who is not. If you are a real authority on top of your stuff, that is what you do. If you're just a joke of an authority, just hoping to have some sort of say in things and wanting to sound like an authority, then what happened in Brazil this past week is exactly what you do. I just altogether very disappointing. It's shameful, to be honest with you. And it's truly concerning because at any point, doesn't matter how good any of the other teams do qualifying as well. Who knows where some corruption may happen along the way, and they would just find an excuse to kick one of the teams out from the World Cup when they did everything by the book. It's just it's very upsetting, very concerning, disturbing more than anything, and just extremely corrupt. I don't know if you guys think otherwise, but
I mean, you kind of just hit everything on the head here. I mean, there's no better way to end an episode than let Diego just go on a rant about something. For anywhere between,
I'm not just going on a rant. It's just I'm not going on a rant. It's just about fairness, man. That whole entire thing just raised so many issues across many of the countries in South America. Like, the Colombian national team has their concerns about the transparency and legality, maximum power that Conmebol really does have in this qualifying rounds. Teams like Uruguay, Paraguay, Peru, Ecuador, they all have filed complaints to Conmebol because of how they dealt so far with the World Cup qualifying rounds. It's a big concern, man. It's a big concern, especially when you're going for one of the most, if not the most praised trophy in the world. And that's the World Cup. That's you gotta have fairness. You gotta have fairness and transparency, and that's something that just Conmebol doesn't have. But anyways, we got Premier League action going on this weekend. So to any of you watching out there, I hope you are enjoying Premier League action. It's back. The international break is over. We can just enjoy our domestic clubs just doing their thing. To any of you that have tuned into episode 51, thank you so much for your support. Make sure, like I said, that you're following us on Twitter, YouTube, Spotify, iTunes, wherever you can. Make sure that you're following us, Anchor as well. Thank you for tuning in. Make sure to check out CouchGuysSports.com. Signing off is Diego Galvez, Andrew Fasciano, Chris Jones. Until next week, see yas.